Yeah. substitution. Substitution. Number 4. One shot.
Jay McClellan. The other forward for Carlyle, a 6'3" senior, 41, and Nick Snyder. The other forward from Maroa-Forsyth, a 6'3" senior, 13, Austin Peebles. Head coach for Carlyle in his 12th season, his second for the Indians, a record of 44-22, Andy Palmer. Assistant coaches, Randy Dooley, Shannon Dudek, Brad Coons. Head coach Maroa-Forsyth, his 7th year, all for the Trojans, a record of 120-75, Chad Kluver. Assistant coaches, Rennie Kluver and Phil Appleby. No other state in America can claim the rich history and tradition has been generated by March Madness in Illinois. It's America's original March Madness. Please direct your attention to the arena floor for the officials for this game. The referee, Pat Punnell. From Bloomington, Craig Komnick. And from Danville, Paul Dalby. Presenting the game ball for this game will be Steve Wicker, Chief Operating Officer, and Diana Anderson, Director of Sales and Marketing of InPlay, one of the sponsors of the March Madness experience. All of us at InPlay thank them for their contribution, the greatest high school single event in the land.
That you can taste. Carlyle has Johnson, Tucker, Peppenhorst, and the Snyder boys in the post positions. Krebs, McClellan, Cochran, Sullivan, and Peebles, the man we talked about at the top of the broadcast. Carlyle is in its road dark jerseys, purple with gold trim. The Trojans of Maroa-Forsyth, the home whites with blue trim. And we are set, and the opening tip is knocked around and controlled by the Trojans. So Maroa-Forsyth is going to get the first look. 29-2 as you take a look at the maps of where these two teams are located. American Airlines, we know why you fly. We are American Airlines. Man-to-man defense, and we're going to see that from Carlyle all game long. And how about that for a start, Robert Krebs?
Well, Krebs is only a junior, but he stepped up. Big shot for him to hit an outside shot. Playing in Peoria, boy, settles your nerves.
And now Krebs comes away with a steal. Up and down the floor, all the way down. Dribble penetration and drew a foul, our first of the game. Now let's take a look at those maps. Brought to you by American Airlines. We know why you fly. We are American Airlines. Maroa-Forsyth, roughly 70 miles from Peoria in Macon County, down near Decatur. Carlyle Indians, a 163-mile bus ride from the south to Peoria. And Krebs is so quick out there. We'll keep our eye on him throughout the course of the game. That's him with the basketball. Now he'll try a three. Missed it. Tracked down in the far corner. It's Reed Sullivan.
Sullivan, a good rebounder. Nice job by Krebs. He made that first one very relaxed, very under control right now.
He'll try it again, and this one he knocks down.
And you could just see on that release, nice rotation, and was able to read the defense, pulled up and shot that quick 15-footer.
So Krebs has all 5 of the Maroa-Forsyth points, 5-0 early going. Now a three from the other, and that's Peppenhorst, who's a terrific three-point shooter, misses it, and we've got a foul in the backcourt against the Indians.
Yeah, and both these teams like to shoot from the perimeter, but I think in order, if you miss a couple early, Kurt, you got to get the ball inside.
Get a look at Andy Palmer in his second season at Carlyle, 44-22, 12-year record of 256 and 84. Carlyle Indians, the 1989 state Class A champs, haven't been back since. Maroa-Forsyth's last trip to state, 1957. That was actually a Supersectional loss, so this is really their initial trip to state. They're going to be celebrating the 50th anniversary of that team next year. Nice passing by the Trojans. McClellan threw it away.
Yeah, McClellan got that ball inside. He's got to take it up there, play with a little confidence. Even though he's a junior, there's a good penetration by the guards. And look for Maroa to do more of that, really try to break down Carlyle in perimeter.
And now a steal, but it's going to go back to the Indians. Tightrope walking or trying to stay in bounds there was Ben Cochran.
Yeah, I'd like to see Carlyle try to get the ball inside, especially to Snyder. They've got a height advantage at 6'7" and 6'3", and if they can get patient, handle the perimeter pressure provided by Maroa, I think they can have some success.
There's Snyder on the great pass from Peppenhorst. Missed it. Then the other Snyder gets it this time, and ladies and gentlemen, it's James Snyder cleaning up the Nick Snyder miss.
See, right there, I think that's where Carlyle has the advantage.
And both coaches said that yesterday, that whoever wins the battle on the glass, especially with the size differential for the post play for the Indians, that will be the key to the game. How about Krebs driving and can't get that one to go this time?
Yeah, nice job by Snyder, the brothers, to come over, intimidate, and misdirect that shot.
Man defense again by the Trojans here. That's pretty much what we're going to see bread and butter here all game long. Now a three for the tie is in and out. Darrell Johnson the miss, but a nice offensive rebound by Jacob Tucker, and he's going to get a couple of foul shots out of it.
Yeah, I thought that was a quick shot from the perimeter. They need to, again, look the ball, get it inside, be a little more patient.
You take a look at some of the team comparisons by the numbers, and again, Carlyle averaging about 64 points a game with Maroa-Forsyth at 69, so it would not be really out of the ordinary if we see a game in the high 60s or maybe even the 70s here.
Yeah, again, they're not afraid to shoot the basketball. Carlyle leads all teams downstate here at 568 three-pointer attempts, so they're not afraid to shoot that three.
Maroa-Forsyth has tried to hang its hat on some defense this year, only allowing 48 points a game, so you're going to have head coach Chad Kluver turning over saying, no, we don't want to score in the 60s or 70s.
Yeah, they do a great job of defending behind that three-point line.
And there's another three, Robert Krebs. He comes out with a hot hand.
Well, you've got to know where Krebs and Peebles are at all times. Those are their go-to guy, 1 and 2. Got to shut those guys down.
Krebs with all 8 of the Trojans' points here in the opening 3 minutes of this basketball game.
Well, you can see why he's a Division I prospect going to UIC up in Chicago and playing for Jimmy Collins, guy I know real well, who coached at Illinois when I was at Illinois.
Snyder, the three, missed it over the top of the backboard, not out of bounds.
Again, really like the Carlyle to take that extra pass. Look at, sort of like in basketball or football, you got to establish the run. I think Carlyle really has to establish themselves to score inside, and then I think it'll free it up on the perimeter.
Here's Peebles, really his first touch of the game, and Peebles is going to try from the outside and make it. So Austin Peebles knocks down the jumper in his first attempt.
Well, and that's what makes these guys so tough. You shut down Krebs, you make a switch, Peebles comes over, does a great job, hits the three.
And Carlyle turns the basketball over, and we have a timeout on the floor. Early on, first quarter score, Maroa-Forsyth 10 and Carlyle 3. Back with more from Peoria after these words from your network sponsors.
They're very quick. They have 2 outstanding guards in Krebs and Peebles, and they're very tough to guard. They can shoot it, very good off the dribble, so we're going to have our hands full defensively.
Carlisle head coach Andy Palmer talking exactly what we've talked about too, Doug. Those 2 guys are the guys that the Indians are going to have to identify because they can kill you.
Yeah, and the one thing about it is if you've got it, someone's got to set up defensively and just try to slow them down.
Peebles again. He's 2 for 2 from the field.
One time, sometimes you wonder about more of a perimeter-oriented team coming in to Peoria here, and they're a little nervous, the state championship, but these 2 guys look really relaxed and very comfortable out there offensively.
Maroa-Forsyth off to a 4 of 7 shooting quarter at 71%. Dribble drive penetration and a couple of free throws now coming for Carlyle.
And that's the thing I like what Carlyle does. They've got to attack, and I would really go after Krebs and Peebles. I mean, if you can get those guys in foul trouble, try to slow them down. Right now, no one can stop them on the other end. But if you make them guard you on this end, sometimes you can get them in foul trouble.
Jacob Tucker to the foul line. He's a 72% free throw shooter. Great leaper, great athlete, a 3-year starter for the Indians.
Yeah, and he really has gotten slow, out of the box, very slow start here. He needs to get going and set the tone for his team.
And so Tucker, who's averaging 13 points a game, leading scorer for the Indians, is in the scorebook now after that free throw. Back comes Maroa-Forsyth, and a rare miss, that time by Ben Cochran. Peppenhorst loves the three. That's his 86th three-point make of the season, Doug.
And he can shoot the three, so you've got to pick him up. That was an NBA three-pointer.
Krebs tried to answer with his own triple and couldn't get it. Yeah, Peppenhorst attempted 200 three-point shots in the season. There are some teams for the whole year that don't try 200 threes.
And right now he feels it.
That three is missed by Tucker. Ball chased down in the corner. It's Peebles who has great court awareness. all the way down and kick it down to McClellan. May have walked. Doesn't matter anyway because Carlyle comes away with it.
Well, CJ's got to go up again. That's the second time he's had an open shot with penetration from the perimeter. Got to go up strong.
And now it's going to be a steal by the Trojans. Austin Peebles got his hand on it and then got a hand in the face.
Yeah, he got an elbow by one of his own teammates. Did a good job of playing over the top on the big fella, number 52, James Snyder. Good defense. Not only can he score, but he can guard too.
That's the second steal now for Maroa-Forsyth. So quick in the passing lanes. By halftime of Tuesday's game, every single player on the floor had at least one steal.
Now Carlyle right now mixing up their defense. It looked like they're in a zone. They switched to a man-to-man.
Peebles missed it. Snyder the rebound.
And confused Maroa right there. They wasn't quite sure what they were running offensively. Didn't get the shot that they wanted.
Jacobs looks inside and he goes down to Snyder. Nicely done.
Good ball rotation, good reversal. Snyder did a good job of pushing this guy up the lane and good entry pass.
So Tucker recognized that. They got the points and right back down and scoring is Krebs.
Yeah, Krebs, great job of going down, pinching the defense. And you really got to know where he is, even off a made basket. Does a great job in transition, pushing that ball down the court.
Under 2 minutes to go here in this opening quarter and a 5-point Maroa-Forsyth lead. Peppenhorst try a three again and make it. Catch and shoot, huh?
Yeah, right there. Krebs did a good job defensively, but Peppenhorst with a quick release. You've got to really be in his face. Great three-point shooter.
A 43% three-point shooter on the season. And Andy Palmer said yesterday he's not a good three-point shooter. He's a great three-point shooter.
He's just got a great release. Fun to watch him shoot the basketball.
Cochran the miss, and it's cleared by Carlisle's big man, James Snyder.
Yeah, nice Snyder doing a nice job clearing the boards.
Peppenhorst again. Can't get it. It's the other Snyder that comes away with it. Now quickly back up the floor. It's Cochran trying to fill the lane. Trailing the play now and shooting from the outside is Peebles again.
Well, you know Maroa, they like to run the ball, did a good job transition. They got the delayed break. Peebles comes down, fills it up. You can't draw it up any better than that.
6 points in the quarter now for Peebles, who averages better than 21 a game.
Well, it's fun watching these two guys play. They really know how to fill it up.
Johnson from the outside, he knocks down the three, and he's a terrific three-point shooter.
Yeah, Johnson's getting jealous. Peppenhorst, those guys are 1 and 2. You got to know where they are. They can really shoot the rock.
72nd three-point make of the season for Daryl Johnson, the senior guard, who's really a lot of times strapped with the point guard responsibilities, although the Indians admit he's really more of a two-guard, a shooter, as we just saw there. Maroa-Forsyth content to hold for the final shot of this opening quarter. It's a 1-point Trojans lead. It's 16-15, under 10 seconds to go now.
Well, Carlyle coming out in the zone.
Krebs again. He knocks down another three. Robert Krebs with a 13-point opening quarter, and Maroa-Forsyth has a 4-point advantage at 19-15. And we're back with more from Carver Arena in the state quarterfinals after these local messages.
Lee Hall back at Carver Arena in downtown Peoria. Maroa-Forsyth, the 4-point lead over Carlyle. We are with Ken Palmer. He is head coach Andy Palmer's father. The kicker to that is you've been a ref for 46 years. How does a referee let your son become a coach?
I don't know. I didn't recommend to go refereeing. That's too much.
How does he treat the guys in the black and white?
Huh? Oh, I don't say much. I can't say much because...
How does your son treat the refs?
Oh, he treats them pretty good. He's only had 1 tee this year.
What do you think so far?
Well, we started kind of slow, but hopefully we'll get back in it.
All right, Ken Palmer, 46-year veteran official, father of Andy, going into the Illinois Basketball Coaches Hall of Fame later this year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, back over to you, Kurt.
Thank you, Lee. Carlyle had the ball in the opening possession of this second quarter. Peppenhorst the miss from three-point range, and now it's Peebles for Maroa-Forsyth. His miss is corralled that time by Nick Snyder. 19-15. Maroa-Forsyth with a 4-point lead, and all 19 of the Maroa-Forsyth points have been a combined effort by Robert Krebs and Austin Peebles.
Well, they account for 59% of the points during the year, but here in the state, they have stepped it up here in Peoria.
Let's take a look at the first quarter stats brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. What jumps out at you there, Doug?
Well, I just think the quality of shooting, and you see the high percentage on both teams, especially from three-point land. A lot of times guys come in offensively, the nerves get you, but both teams really came out, hit their shots early, and they're feeling it right now.
There's the Chicago and Northwestern Indiana Chevy dealer shooting statistics as well. 57% field goal percentage in the opening quarter. Both teams actually shooting the ball well. But the 57% by Maroa-Forsyth, and that's why they have the early lead.
I think it's a good idea by Carlyle. Try to slow the tempo down a little bit. I don't think they can keep up with Maroa.
Perhaps on the lob that time, misconnected with Peebles, but there to get the rebound and shoot it in is Reed Sullivan. He's really the defensive stopper for the Trojans, but he was in the right place at the right time, and the senior guard lays it in. First points by somebody other than either Krebs or Peebles for the Trojans. And now another steal. And quickly up the floor. Peebles fills the lane, draws contact. It's going to be waved off. Offensive foul. Second foul whistled against Austin Peebles.
Yeah, he's got to be really careful right now. They can't afford to have him on the bench. They're not, with his ability to impact the game, and offensively especially. He's got to play a little bit wiser here down the stretch here in the first half.
6-point Maroa-Forsyth lead here as we approach the 6-minute mark left here opening quarter, or opening half I should say, and there's another steal. It's Peebles, and this time he takes it all the way down again, draws contact, and he'll get some foul shots out of it.
That was going to be interesting. Number 22, Jacob Tucker, he can go upstairs. Great leaping ability, and very fortunate Peebles didn't get called for the push-off there with his left hand. In college or in the NBA, that's going the other way, but here in high school, officials usually call it the correct way.
Well, that was an excellent replay, so you got to look at that. And now Peebles to the free throw line. We're seeing Ben Cochran re-enter the game for the Trojans, going out of C.J. McClellan. But again, those last two sequences set up by steals, again in the passing lane.
Yeah, again, they put a lot of pressure on you on the perimeter inside. And a lot of times when you do that, when the defense extends themselves, you got to look inside. Look for Snyder, the Snyder brothers inside.
Now Carlisle's been forced into 6 first-half turnovers. Maroa-Forsyth got 18 turnovers out of Gibson City, Melvin Sibley to win the regional championship, and then Bloomington Central Catholic turned the ball over 18 times against the Trojans in the sectional final. So they have a way of getting their hands on passes just like that. Ball's out of bounds, and there's another turnover as it goes to the Trojans.
Yeah, did a great job. Ball goes inside to Snyder. Everybody collapses. You see 3 white jerseys. Then he looks to pass it out. They do a nice job of rotation. You can't draw it up defensively any better than that.
So 7th turnover against the Indians now.
Yeah, I thought offensively, first quarter, both of the guys put on a show, but I think defensively, especially Maroa, is starting to get a little bit better bearing on what Carlisle's trying to do offensively.
Peebles had the ball stripped that time. Now it's a turnover on the other foot. Indians come away with it. That's Gerald Johnson on the front court. Bumped by Peebles.
Well, Peebles very fortunate he didn't get his 3rd foul right there.
Somehow he saved that basketball, but it hit the end line or the sideline there. Otherwise, that would have been a miraculous save.
Yeah, right now, I might want to take Peebles out right now. Give him a little break. He's very aggressive out there. You don't want to have him to get his 3rd foul.
Well, Chad Kluber, the head coach, pardon me, Doug, he just pointed to his head saying, think about what you're doing out there, pal. You got 2 fouls.
Well, he's pretty excited out there, and so far he's played a whale of a game. So he's given all the effort you need.
There's Snyder. How about him sealing off his defender and scoring down low?
And that's there. I mean, again, the defense is extended. They're in the passing lanes on the perimeter. They get that entry pass into Snyder. Good things will happen.
Krebs with the quick shot, and it's out of bounds. A fortunate bounce that time for the Trojans off Gerald Johnson's hands. And we've got a timeout on the floor. 4:51 to go till halftime. Good second state quarterfinal. It's Maroa-Forsyth 22 and Carlyle 17. Back with more from Peoria after these local messages.
They're a great rebounding team. I mean, they really attack the offensive glass, and they do a good job on the boards. They're big. They got some guards that can shoot, so we'll have to definitely defend the perimeter, but also take care of the stuff inside, too.
Chad Kluba, the Maroa-Forsyth Trojans head coach in his 7th season, 120 wins, 75 losses. He's posted back-to-back 20-win seasons, and you just heard his thoughts on what his team needs to do to be successful. And so far, through the first quarter and a half, Maroa-Forsyth has been able to run its game plan a little bit better than the Indians of Carlyle.
Yeah, I mean, offensively, I think they've been able to really run the things that they need to run and get the shots that they're looking for. So offensively, I think they're doing everything right. Again, very patient offensively. They've got the 2 guards. They can back it back out and take their time.
Now Krebs, open 3. Missed it. And Peebles may have just picked up his 3rd foul. So Austin Peebles, the Trojans' leading scorer at 21.3 points per game, has 3 first-half fouls.
Well, they ran a risk. I mean, Chad Clover took that risk, and it paid off for a while, but Austin got his 3rd foul. That's going to hurt them down the stretch because now it's Krebs who's got to carry the load offensively.
So he's out, and Andrew Mills is checked in now for the Trojans. Peppenhorst driving, floating, scoring. So he doesn't just camp out at the arch, he can also penetrate and score. Peppenhorst, who averages nearly 12 points a game, scoring now 8 points in this opening half.
Yeah, Tucker really has been silent right now. He really hasn't been able to get on track offensively.
And there's a steal. Tucker, and the finish. Any doubt about his hops?
I was just saying that he's slowed down a little bit. He hasn't gotten going. He must have heard me, but boy, you could see what a great athlete he is. He went upstairs right there.
And that just might be the alarm clock going off for the Indians. Now Cochran's having some trouble with it, and he turned the basketball over. And the corner section of Carver Arena that is just loaded with the Carlisle Indian faithful is going crazy. As you see, streaking Maroa-Forsyth, have won 26 of their last 27 games. Just 2 losses this year for the Trojans, both to Macon Meridian. But right now, with their star player on the bench, they're clinging to a 1-point lead as we approach 3 minutes to go in the half. And there's Tucker penetrating, and Jacob Tucker now with 4 straight points.
Well, I think it helps him with Peoples out of there. He's about 6'3", and he's able to operate much better. Tucker is, great move by Krebs.
Just when the Indians had their first lead, Krebs comes back and lays it in.
Yeah, he really answered for his team offensively. Came down the last 3 or 4 series, and they were really struggling.
What an opening half he's got. 15 points. 15 of his team's 24. Now Peppenhorst thought about the 3. He's trying to free up a little space down there. The pass intended for Snyder is out of bounds.
Yeah, Snyder was open the whole time. You've got to get the big boys the ball. He was working hard inside. Peppenhorst didn't. If he doesn't have that 3, look to get the ball inside.
You see some of the scoring highs and lows. An 83-point effort against Marissa, a 40-point effort against Breeze Central. The highs and lows for the Indians this year at 26 and 9. Krebs penetrating, fake the bounce pass, hit the jumper. Well, he is so aware of everything going on around him.
Yeah, he looks like Pete Maravich right now. He's doing it all. He's passing, he's penetrating, he's shooting off the dribble.
Yep. Foul on the perimeter is going to be whistled against C.J. McClellan now for the Trojans.
Again, Maroa plays really aggressive offensively. So, a lot of times out on the perimeter, they're going to look to take some risks, go for some steals, and they're going to get called for some fouls. But in general, they play great sound defense.
3-point Maroa-Forsyth lead, under 2 minutes to go here, opening quarter of the state quarterfinals here at Carver Arena. Winner of this game gets IVC, Illinois Valley Central, which advanced with a victory over Chicago North Lawndale here in the last hour. We've got a whistle away from the basketball, and it's going to go against Maroa-Forsyth.
Yeah, Mills doing a good job on Snyder inside. Snyder really doing a good job of getting positioning. And both the Snyder brothers, Nick and James, do a good job of positioning themselves on the block. You can see those guys go one-on-one in the
driveway.
In the driveway, posting each other up.
Matt Palm, that's him with the basketball. Left-handed players in the ball game now. Here's Snyder. Now it's out Peppenhorst. He loves it out there, and he knocks down another three. Corey Peppenhorst now 3 of 6 from three-point land, give him 11 points, and we've got an even game at 26.
He's got such a quick release. If you just give him any space at all, he can fire it up.
From the outside, Cochran tries to answer. He can't get a good offensive rebound that time by Andrew Mills. There's under a minute to go here in this opening half now. Krebs has the hot hand. And he drew a foul that time, and it's going to be whistled against Jacob Tucker.
Yeah, Tucker does a nice job on defensively on Krebs, but Krebs is one of those kids that he's very patient, and he will wait to attack you. And they had a clear out on that right side. He knew he could go to the baseline, and he waited and then took Tucker on the drive and was able to draw a foul.
Second foul now whistled against Tucker. 4th on the team here. Under 40 seconds to go in the quarter.
And Krebs does a great job of keeping his dribble too. He doesn't pick it up. He does a nice job of looking for that open guy on the perimeter.
Now Krebs is going to bring it back out to the timeline. They may be content just to milk this down to the final shot. The count is on now. He backed off. Peppenhorst is the defender here for the Indians. Krebs, crossover dribble, pull up 3. Missed it. And now the Indians have a chance for the last shot. But a hand in the way. Krebs comes away with a steal. Now he's going to get one more opportunity. Or maybe it's Cochran. His 3 is good. And Ben Cochran, before the buzzer, knocks down a big 3 for Maroa-Forsyth.
Well, we knew this game. Both teams love the 3. They've shot 21 attempts, three-pointer attempts here in the first half, and it's appropriate the game ends here in the first half with a 3, and this one was from the bench. He hit that from downtown, and Ben Cochran, again, all these guys can shoot the 3.
Lee Hall is standing by with Chad Kluver, the Trojans head coach. His team has a 3-point lead.
All right, Kurt, thanks a lot. Well, the half ended like it began. You guys came out firing away. Everything went in, and then you make a 3 there.
Yeah, I mean, we did a good job of trying to get that last shot. We fought back and got the steal and got to kick it out, and Ben was due. I mean, he's been shooting. It's been right there, and he finally got one in for us.
Little foul trouble with Austin Peebles. He's got 3.
Yeah, I mean, he knew it wasn't a smart foul down there, and he knew that, but we like him being aggressive, so we'll be okay in the second half. He's smart.
All right, Coach, good luck to you. All right, Kurt, back over to you.
Thank you, Lee. Maroa-Forsyth 29, Carlyle 26, 3-point advantage thanks to a 3 right at the end of the half. 29-26, back with more from Carver Arena after this network break.
And welcome back to Carver Arena. Maroa-Forsyth enjoying a 3-point advantage here at the half, 29-26 over Carlyle. We are joined at halftime, as always, by the principals of the two schools in today's game. We're joined by Mike Williams, Maroa-Forsyth, down around Decatur, and you guys have to be very excited to be here. It's first time in a long time. In fact, they counted the Sweet 16 as part of the state. That's how long ago it's been.
Yeah, it's been 49 years, and we've had several of those guys come back from the 57 team, kind of give our boys a little bit of inspiration, and you know, these guys have worked their tails off, and I hope they take time to enjoy the moment. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing for these guys, and they need to make sure they take it in.
Tell us some more about what's going on at your school these days.
Oh, it's been kind of hectic here the past few days, trying to sell tickets, get everything ready, but you know, I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world. It's one of those once-in-a-lifetime experiences, like I said, and you know, we'll turn around and do everything again next week if we'd have to.
All right. Thank you so much. Joe Wilkerson is here from Carlisle. Longtime teacher, just became principal a few years back. Tell me how that transition went for you.
Oh, it was pretty easy. The person who was here before me did a great job. Kevin Myers, superintendent at Bree Central now, and just kind of stepped in there.
Carlisle has a great state tradition going back to the Tommy Michael days back in the mid-'80s. Tell me about the community involvement and excitement this week.
Oh, every time you get a small school like ours that comes up here, the community is just wonderful. It joins everybody together. And we haven't been here with the boys since, you know, the Tommy Michael and Peters and Scott Horner eras, but the girls went a few years in a row there for a while, too.
Tell us what else we should know about your school.
Well, we're just a small school, you know, in Southern Illinois, just like everybody else. But I think I'd really talk about these kids right now. This is a great team. You saw, I don't know if you noticed when they did their starting lineups, the starters came out and made a tunnel for the rest of the kids. And no one part of this team is any better than the whole, and that's why they're here.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here at halftime. We will be back with more from Carver Arena after these local messages. Stay with us.
This IHSA Classic Moment is presented by Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick.
Manley to inbound. Here comes Heisler. Didn't get free. Dan Belt has the ball. He can shoot the threes as well. Weir will set a screen. Heisler, that's for the tie. Got it!
Oh, tremendous play. Tremendous play.
Jepson at the buzzer. Oh, boy, was that close.
Oh.
Well, in the end, the cross-country runners had better long-distance capability than the football players. Hall wins the Class A state title. Hall loses the Class A state title after being on top late in regulation. Warsaw wins it 92-85.
That was a look back at the 1997 Class A state title game between Spring Valley Hall and Warsaw. Here we're at the state quarterfinals. Kurt Pegler, Doug Altenberger with you. Carlyle and Maroa-Forsyth, a very entertaining opening half with the Trojans ahead by 3, and we're going to take a look at the statistics in a moment, and they're almost identical right now.
Yeah, I mean, what a great first half that was. It was, it was fun to watch. We get to do it here in the second half, but again, both teams shot extremely well, and I just really felt like both teams. The key was really nothing surprised us. I thought Maroa did a great job of shooting the three-pointers. And Carlyle did a good job of pounding the boards, and you see right there points in the paint.
Those are the Menards Save Big Money at Menards halftime statistics. Now your Chicagoland and Northwestern Indiana Chevy dealers shooting statistics, and again, those are gaudy numbers: 56% from the field, 52% from the field.
Yeah, and I think they got the ball inside. Carlyle really did a good job on the perimeter and also behind the three-point line with Peppenhorst. Just got to take care of the basketball. Not a lot of free throws shot in the first half.
Well, we mentioned that the ebb and flow of the game could be up and down the floor. That's the way it was in the opening 16 minutes. We'll see if it happens in the back end of it. Second half action is coming up from Carver Arena after these local messages.
Back at Carver Arena, Maroa-Forsyth up 3 on Carlisle as we get ready for third quarter action. We're with Andy Palmer, head coach of the Carlisle Indians. You guys made a little run with Peebles out of there. What'd you tell your team at half?
Well, we felt like maybe they couldn't play, any better than they did the first half. They shot lights out, and we just got to do a better job getting the ball inside and making good decisions and try to control Krebs a little bit better.
All right, Coach, good luck to you second half. All right, back over to you, Kurt.
All right, indeed, Lee. Thank you. 17 first half points from Robert Krebs, and that's the reason why he's saying we got to get this guy under control, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he single-handedly carried Maroa on his back. I mean, he did everything out there. Shot the three, and 17 points. But the key for him, he handles the ball so much, is that he's able to take care of the ball. But right there, Jacobs, he needs to get going, have a strong second half early.
3-point game. Maroa-Forsyth 29 and Carlisle 26. Third quarter action is around the corner after we hear from our network sponsors. Back here at Carver Arena as we're ready to start the third quarter of the second state quarterfinal here, the Class A boys basketball tournament for 2006. Kurt Pegler and Doug Altenberger with you. Maroa-Forsyth 29-26 over Carlisle, and it's going to be Maroa-Forsyth with the opening possession of this half and a steal, a turnover on the opening possession.
It came with a different look there. Cochran brought the ball up for Maroa, and with Peebles and Krebs coming on the wing. Might want to get the ball back into All-Staters' hands.
Tucker missed his first shot. Here's now Cochran. He's going to take it all the way down and hit the short jumper. So Ben Cochran, the junior guard, who averages about 9 points a game, is the only player on his team besides Krebs and Peebles to lead his team in scoring. He had a 21-point game against Decatur St. Teresa back on the 6th of January. Shows that he can score in transition. It's a 5-point lead now for the Trojans. Tucker's going to try again. He's 0 for 2 here in the third quarter. Now Peebles, that's him. He's got 3 fouls, and he missed the jumper. He had to sit down the final 4 minutes of that second quarter after picking up his third foul.
Again, Carlyle really needs to take care of the basketball. They've coughed it up already 10 times. And look, I think I'd like them to get the ball inside to James Snyder. Snyder's really played well. He's 4 for 4 from the field right now.
Right on cue. Double figures in scoring now.
And again, I would attack Austin Peebles wherever he's at. If I'm Carlyle, I want to know where he is and try to get his 4th foul.
Here's Krebs, lost the dribble. Gives it back up now to Peebles. Wide open, little break in the defense there. Missed the shot. McClellan, the offensive board. He can't get it to go. Peebles fights it and comes down with it. Had the ball knocked out of his hands, though. Trade out who's going to trigger this play. Peebles was initially at the baseline, and now it's going to be Krebs to tell him to tuck his shirt in. We're just underway here, third quarter. Winner of this game gets IVC, Illinois Valley Central, which is in the Final Four after winning the first state quarter earlier today against Chicago North Lawndale. That ball rolls in. Turnaround jumper that goes in is Reed Sullivan.
And that's what happens when you've got to overplay, know where Peebles is and Krebs are. It opens it up for the other guys. Nice job by Sullivan finishing that off. That was a tough shot at 5'11".
There's Jacob Tucker now, trying to break down McClellan. He missed the outside jumper, so he's 0 for his first 3 here in the half. Nice bounce pass. Peebles in transition, gets it up to Cochran, now to McClellan. Now it's Krebs who finishes.
Well, you talk about ball movement. Doesn't get much better than that. Talk of selfish basketball, making the extra pass. And you see the quickness by Maroa. These guys really do a good job. This is in transition. Again, looking to make that upper pass. Krebs cutting through the lane and able to finish off.
Well, in a first 2.5 quarters of very good basketball, we've just seen at least the initial play of the game, because that was excellent passing. As we take a look at the Indians game notes, did not make the top 25. In the AP poll, which is actually only about 16 teams in high school hoops. 1-0 in overtime games, split with Greece Central. Winless against Muscuda on the season. They've been playing basketball since the 27-28 high school basketball year.
Well, Carlyle is home to a good friend of mine, Tommy Michael, who played at Illinois back in the early 90s. And Tom is hopefully here. If not, he's probably with the Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis.
And we give you some programming information here. You see that IVC has advanced to the Final Four with a 58-40 win. So the Gray Ghosts are in the semifinals against the winner of this game tomorrow. And then tonight, you've got Teutopolis and Seneca at 6:30, followed by Pinckneyville and Macomb at 8:15. Some heavyweights coming your way in the night session here from Carver Arena. We hope that you're along the lines of the IHSA television network. 6:30 the start time for the evening session. Bottom half of the bracket absolutely loaded.
Yeah, back in 1989, Tommy Michael had led the tournament, state tournament, with 121 points and put on a show, and he's a great shooter.
Now a 3 by Daryl Johnson is missed. It appears that the Indians have settled for a lot of quick shots here, haven't they, Doug?
I think so. Here, early on here in the second half, they have looked not to get the ball inside.
Cochran from the outside misses, and another offensive board by C.J. McClellan gives the Trojans another offensive look.
Yeah, a lot of times when you shoot long shots like that, it's hard for the big men. The ball comes off long. The guards have got to come back for Carlyle, get that long rebound, just like that. Got to get to that free throw line, your guards.
Well, they say long shots produce long rebounds, and there's a foul out half court that's going to be whistled against Ben Cochran of Maroa-Forsyth.
Yeah, see what they've done. Cochran's really stepped up here with Peebles with the 3 fouls. He's able to handle the rock a little bit more.
We have an official's timeout on the floor. Maroa-Forsyth with a 7-point lead. Just under 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Back with more from the state quarterfinals in Peoria after this local break.
Back at Carver Arena, Maroa-Forsyth, a 7-point lead. We are with Kurt Wilson. He was on the 1957 Maroa-Forsyth team that went to the Sweet 16. That was part of the state tournament back then, part of the finals. Tell me what you remember about that tournament.
Well, that tournament was it was very exciting. I was only a sub on that team. I wasn't a starting 5, but it was just a thrill to be able to play in the final 16. At that time, it was still a Sweet 16.
Right.
And they played the finals in Huff Gym. and we played the Supersectional at Kinder Gym in Decatur, and Champaign High at that time beat us by 1 point.
This has to be pretty exciting for you to be back at the state tournament almost 50 years later.
This is extra exciting to see them get in the final 8. Yeah, definitely.
Some good old-fashioned sharing of the basketball down there, too. Good passing.
Oh, they're a great team. They're not a selfish team. They play well together, and it's just amazing how quick they are. And that's how we kind of make up for our size.
All right. Kurt Wilson sharing his IHSA Classic moment with us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Kurt, back downstairs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lee. Chad Kluver, the Trojans head coach, says he's just been overwhelmed by the support that the 1957 team has given his team. He said he got his assistant coaches together. He's telling us this story yesterday. Said, next year is the 50th anniversary of the last Maroa-Forsyth team to go to state. What are we going to do? Can we start calling guys? Can we start planning something? Well, how do you like this? How about this little tribute of getting his team to state? That's what you can do.
Yeah, that meant what the timing is everything.
Here's Krebs, pull-up jumper. That goes down. Robert Krebs now, 9 of 15 from the field. A 21-point effort, so he's already over his average of 19, and we still have better than 4 minutes to go in just the third quarter.
Yeah, I like when they're able to rotate that basketball and get the hands in Peebles or...
And Snyder is going to be called for an offensive foul.
Well, good idea by Snyder to draw that contact. People does a good job of staying vertical, keeping his hands up there, and does a good job of establishing themselves, and lowers that shoulder, and that's what gets called for the offensive foul.
James Snyder has now just picked up his third foul. This is a guy that is 4 out of 5 from the field. He's been very effective in the low post, but now has 3 fouls. Remains in the basketball game as we're under 4 minutes to go here, third quarter. Now Peebles, his pass is picked off by Peppenhorst. It's the 9th turnover by Maroa-Forsyth. That's Matt Palm in the game, 14. Baseline, nice move by Tucker.
See, Carlyle, when they're able to get that penetration, go inside, they've got the advantage. They need to do that more often.
Krebs works his way down low, lost the ball out of bounds, or was it tipped? It was tipped, so the Trojans will maintain possession. Now the Trojans of Maroa-Forsyth have dictated the tempo here, at least in the second half, which is why they've got that 7-point lead. It was a 3-point advantage for the Trojans at halftime. Cochran, nice pass. Give and go to C.J. McClellan.
Yeah, we talked about ball distribution, unselfish play. Great example right there, give and go.
McClellan had the game-winning basket with just 7 seconds remaining on Tuesday against CPCI in the Illinois State University Supersectional. So it wasn't Krebs or Peoples coming up with a big shot there. Now there's the pass from Peoples, but the shot was blocked that time. Sullivan had it momentarily, but good Carlyle defense to get back and stop the transition basket. Now it's going to be Tucker on the other end. He shoots the 3, and it's off the top of the backboard and out of bounds. We'll take a look at some of the notes from Maroa-Forsyth. Also an unranked team in the final poll. Losses on the season to Macon Meridian. And then the Decatur St. Teresa Holiday Tournament Championship. Krebs and Peebles, again, the leading scorers on 30 of 31 games. We mentioned that Ben Cochran was the only other player to be the leading scorer in a game for the Trojans this year. Peebles, fadeaway jumper is good. His first basket since early in the second quarter. And now a near steal in the backcourt. Again, those quick hands by the Trojans.
Yeah, I think it's really hard for Carlyle to stay up with Peebles and Krebs. Peppenhorst and Tucker are really struggling offensively to stay with those guys. Here down the stretch, Trojans need to get those guys to touch the ball, make things happen, and then feed off them offensively.
And Peebles goes and takes a seat now on the Trojans bench. Andrew Mills, the 6'2", 250-pound junior center, wide body guy, back in the game. As we approach the 2-minute mark left here, third quarter. Largest lead of the game now for Maroa-Forsyth at 11 points, but we're going to get foul shots as Matt Palm penetrates and draws contact. C.J. McClellan picks up his third foul, so we'll see if he's going to leave the game. Austin Peebles is checked back in at the scores table. He'll likely replace McClellan.
Yeah, they're thinking you're up by 11, give him a rest. He's got 3 fouls, but you can see that they really lose a lot when he's not in there. They can't afford to have Krebs and Peebles on the bench. Those guys got to play some big minutes.
You see Matt Palm's numbers. The coaching staff for the Indians said this guy has just been terrific down the stretch. He came off the bench to score 14 against Trenton Westland in the sectional final. Big baskets, big points off the bench. Had a 10-rebound game against Mascuda back in December. So when he's on the floor, he can make things happen. He's pulled his team now to within 9 at 41-32, under 2 minutes to go here, third quarter.
Yeah, he's only a sophomore, but you can tell he's got great athletic ability. He can try to stay up with those guys. He's a little bit quicker on the ball.
Cochran, Sullivan, Peebles, pump fake, jumper one. There's Palm now trying to make something happen. Lost the dribble, looking for help. Under 90 seconds to go here in this third quarter. Tucker, crossover dribble on Sullivan. Hangs, fires, missed it. Snyder there. Give him 10 points now on 5 out of 6 shooting from the field.
Again, good things happen when they get in the paint area, when they can penetrate from the top. That allows Snyder to release. They got to help out defensively. He can get to the offensive glass.
Krebs penetrates and misses. Jacob Tucker comes away with it now. Under a minute to go here, third quarter. And now a steal. Peebles comes away with it. It's a foot race. It's he and Tucker all the way down, and a whistle. This one's going to go against Jacob Tucker.
That'll be the third on Tucker. Didn't have a lot of option there. Don't want to give up the layup. And both these guys can go upstairs. We saw this in the first half, and good aggressive move by Peebles to draw contact.
And that is the 9th steal now for the Maroa-Forsyth defense. Well, Chad Kluver has said that he likes it when his defense kind of translates into offense, and that has been the case this afternoon for the Trojans.
Yeah, I think so far Kluver's got to be really excited. I think his team has come out and has done everything that he has asked them to do. I mean, defensively, they're forcing turnovers. Krebs and Peebles have stepped up offensively, really established themselves, and right now they've got control of this basketball game.
Peebles splits the foul shots. He'll leave the game, and now McClellan, again with those 3 fouls, will come back in for the final 50 seconds. Peebles also with 3 fouls now to the bench.
Yeah, smart move by Kluver to get him out of there, the head coach, to don't want to have, really want to protect him.
Chicago and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealer shooting stats you see down in the corner there. Free throw numbers. Nice move by Palm. He's left-handed, and he used it to his advantage.
Yeah, Palm has really stepped up here in the third quarter. When offensively, Carlyle has been struggling. The sophomore has played some big minutes.
6-point lead now for Maroa-Forsyth. See if the Trojans hold for a final shot here in the final 20 seconds of the third quarter. Near steal, but it's going to be a foul. It's going to be whistled against Daryl Johnson on the perimeter. He gambled that time, tried to pick Ben Cochran's pocket.
Again, Cochran had the ball out on the perimeter. They do a jump switch right there, comes out there, comes in with that inside hand, and draws the contact and gets called for the foul.
Now an offensive substitution. Austin Peebles has re-entered the game. He replaces Andrew Mills for this final possession of the third quarter. Krebs, 3 from the top of the circle is good. Robert Krebs with 24 now on the game, his 4th 3-point make of the night. And another steal. It's McClellan who comes away with it. And that ends the possession and ends the third quarter. The Maroa-Forsyth Trojans 8 minutes away from advancing to the semifinals. They have a 45-36 lead over Carlyle. Back with fourth quarter action from Peoria after these local messages. Through 3 quarters of action here at Carver Arena in Peoria, it's Maroa-Forsyth 45 and Carlyle 36. In the second state quarterfinal, winner gets a Final Four date with the IVC Grey Goats. Illinois Valley Central defeats Chicago North Lawndale in the first state quarterfinal.
Yeah, and this game to this afternoon, it's all been Robert Krebs. I mean, he has really put on a show here in the first 3 quarters, 24 points. I mean, he's scored it from the perimeter. He's driven to the basket. He's done everything out there.
The Dakota Pep Band with Annette Hackbarth as the band director is doing a great job of entertaining people in the intermission times and the breaks here at Carver Arena. Don't forget, we've got 2 more state quarterfinals your way tonight starting at 6:30. Night session comes your way. We'll share those third quarter statistics with you in our next opportunity as we start the fourth period here. It's going to be the Indians with a basketball. And they really need to start stringing together some stops defensively and cashing in on their offensive opportunities. 3-ball missed by Daryl Johnson, but it's Peppenhorst that goes and gets it.
Yeah, Maroa's come out in a 1-3-1 like a trap and changed up their defense.
There's Tucker. Nicely done.
And Kurt, when you do that, you can attack along the baseline because a 1-3-1, you've only got one guy underneath the basket. Do a good job of rotating the basketball. Tucker getting to that, able to finish off on that layup.
Jacob Tucker now in double figures with 10. He's the third Indians player in double figures. They've had 4 players in double figures all season long, and we've got another whistle. There's going to be the 4th foul against James Snyder. Let's take a look at our Save Big Money at Menards quarter statistics here in the third.
Yeah, both teams have quieted down a little bit behind that three-point line. They were scorching there in the first half, but both the teams continue to shoot well from the field goal percentage from behind, especially getting the ball in the paint area.
Now here's Peebles drawing contact. That foul's going to be against Matt Palm. As we take a look at our Chicago and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers shooting statistics. Field goal percentage again. Maroa-Forsyth now at 50%, even 19 of 38 from the field.
Yeah, again, right now, both teams are really doing a good job of when they're able to run their offense. Carlyle struggling with turnovers. They've got 13 turnovers in the game, and that's probably pretty good because Maroa really likes to get out in the passing lane, force a lot more turnovers than that. But I think down the stretch, they got to take care of the basketball.
And Austin Peebles makes good on both of his foul shots. He's now at 12 for the game. He and Robert Krebs have combined for 36 of Maroa-Forsyth's 47 points total. Tucker in the paint, fadeaway, tough shot, rolls off. Snyder offensive board, and count it. 3-point opportunity now for James Snyder playing with 4 fouls.
Yeah, great job by, again, the ball gets in the middle. Palmer does a good job of penetration. We've talked about this in the second half. When they do that, everybody's got to come over and help out. I'm sorry, Tucker, I mean, and did a great job of finishing off the big fella Snyder, and Snyder's playing the whale of the game.
And he makes the foul shot, so Snyder now with 13 points on 6 of 7 shooting from the field. It's a 6-point lead now for Maroa-Forsyth. A lot of basketball to be played here in the final 6.5 minutes of this fourth quarter. Krebs now guarded by Tucker. That's Peebles with Palm on him. Cochran guarded by Daryl Johnson. Nearly lost the ball as we approach the 6-minute mark. Backdoor play to Peebles. C.J. McClellan with another nice assist. Or sometimes these guys have eyes in the back of their head, it looks like.
Yeah, right now, Maroa can take their time offensively. They don't have to force anything. Again, good penetration by Carlyle. But defensively, they've got to get some stops down here. They've got to be a little bit more patient defensively. Don't try to gamble so much. Just stay at home, play good defense. That's what's going to get you back in this ball game.
That was a terrific pass from Daryl Johnson to James Snyder. 15 now for Snyder. Peebles working on the baseline. Draws contact again. A hard foul by Daryl Johnson. Big time contact underneath that basket. Let's take a look at it.
Well, we talked about how Krebs and Peebles really read the floor. Here they clear it out. There's no help along the baseline. They're not talking defensively. Peebles recognizes that, goes to his left, goes up strong, and draws contact.
Chad Kluver, the head coach of Maroa-Forsyth, said that this guy, Austin Peebles, sees the floor better than anyone he's ever coached.
Both those guys do. I mean, when you've got two guys that can handle a basketball and who can see the court like they do, it's fun to coach them. And right now, they are really executing on this end. And they can knock down their free throws down the stretch. They're going to be tough to beat.
Now, Kluver thinks that Peebles' best basketball is still 2 or 3 years ahead of him. He still has some growing into his body yet to do. Here's Palm now on the other end. Stripped. Ball's out of bounds, and the Indians will maintain possession. .5:24 left here in regulation. Tough shot. Almost out of bounds and almost tipped in that time. How about Jacob Tucker again with the great hops. Now quickly up the floor. That pass is picked off, though. Johnson comes away with the Austin Peebles pass. Johnson tries to dribble. He has a Peppenhorst now in the corner. He's going to look at the three and miss it. And Krebs is fouled in the backcourt by Daryl Johnson.
See, there's 5 minutes to go. They're acting like there's only a minute to go. Carlyle, maybe they're a little tired, extending themselves defensively, starting to make some poor decisions both offensively and there. That was just an unforced foul right there.
Carlyle outscoring Maroa-Forsyth in the paint, 24-18. And there's that big steals category we talked about at the top of the broadcast, that Maroa-Forsyth is very active defensively and likes to come away with steals, and that's a big statistic here in this game. 9 steals on the game.
Yeah, and they like to get out in those passing lanes, and they'll gamble, and they don't mind if you get caught backdoor, and they'll sacrifice that to get those steals.
And Krebs rattles home those free throws. Now 26-point effort for the University of Illinois Chicago committed Robert Krebs. And a near steal by guess who? Krebs. We've got a timeout on the floor. 10-point Maroa-Forsyth lead, 53-43. Just under 5 minutes to go here in this basketball game. Back with more in the state quarterfinals from Peoria after this local break. Maroa-Forsyth a 10-point lead, 53-43 over Carlyle here in the second state quarterfinal. The winner of this game gets Illinois Valley Central, IVC, which eliminated Chicago North Lawndale in the first game of the day. And it's not that the Indians have played poorly, as we've mentioned, Doug. It's just that so far Maroa-Forsyth has made more shots.
Yeah, just too much offensive firepower. Peebles and Krebs have really dominated offensively. Carlyle has thrown some different guys at it, tried to slow them down, but they haven't been very successful.
Now trying to cut into this 10-point Trojans lead. Tucker penetrates, hangs, fires, scores. Well, he has deceptive quickness, doesn't he?
He sure does. He's just such a great athlete, and at 5'11", he just plays so much taller than that. I mean, he can really go upstairs. He's got some great hang time. And
12 points.
And he's not afraid to go inside.
Yeah, 12 points now for Tucker on the afternoon. Krebs, what a game he's had. Robert Krebs now with 28 of his team's 55 points.
And you know, and he's doing that against Tucker, who is a great athlete himself, and he's making it look easy. But he's very patient offensively. Very rarely does he take bad shots.
Palm tries to back in now, and he fakes on Krebs, and he drew the foul, got a three-point opportunity. By Matt Palm, just a sophomore, and looking very comfortable on the state quarterfinal floor.
Yeah, again, we talked about his athletic ability and his ability to get off a shot. And you see right there, has the upper body strength and took Krebs down low and just did a great job of finishing that shot off.
And he's got a chance for a three-point opportunity. Travis Isaac has checked in the game for the Indians. He's the quarterback on the football team. His dad played on the Carlyle 1981 state baseball champion team. So he's got that in his blood. 55-47, under 4 minutes to go. Maroa-Forsyth trying to whittle the clock down here. Here's Peebles. And he finds McClellan. Nicely done.
Peebles does a great job of curling, reading the defense, gets inside, and then we talked about vision. There's a prime example. Great assist.
Palm lost the dribble, trying to work it. Now it's on the floor, and another steal, the 10th of the game for the Trojans. And now it's a long lead pass ahead to Cochran. He's got a three-point opportunity.
Good in transition, great steal. We talked about that. There's 13th one in the game. Cochran goes up, draws a contact, and he hits the support really hard. I mean, he goes up, sacrifices his body, gets hit with a hard foul, and right there, it could have easily been called for a flagrant foul right there. Tough kid.
And how about that pass from C.J. McClellan? He's made a couple of passes in the paint that we've seen, but you try and hit a guy in full stride, three-quarter court, and give him an opportunity to finish off a play like that. That's not an easy pass at all.
Now, a lot of times, coaches, they talked about guys knowing their roles, playing as a team, being unselfish, and CJ's one of those guys.
Ben Cochran completes the three-point play. He's got 8 points now, and it's a 13-point Maroa-Forsyth lead, and a 5-second call whistled against the Indians. Let's take a quick glance at what the foul situation looks like as far as foul trouble is concerned.
And the key here in this game has been Peoples. He's been able to stay out of foul trouble. Had his third foul in here in the first half, and he's played really smart in the second half.
Now the 15 turnovers against the Indians really killed Carlyle here. Peebles dribbles through and scores.
I mean, that makes him so tough. I mean, you shut down Krebs, and Peebles put so much pressure on offensively.
Johnson's shot is off the top of the rim, but it's out of bounds. However, there was a whistle before the play. He drew contact, and likely will get some free throws out of it, as Krebs is going to be whistled for the foul. His second, and that's the 9th team foul against Carlyle, or against Maroa-Forsyth. That was a shooting foul anyway, so there'll be a double bonus opportunity in the next foul that the Indians can perhaps take advantage of. This young man, Daryl Johnson, in the top 5 academically in his class. We mentioned already that he's a good three-point shooter, and he's really a 2-guard playing in the 1 position, playing in the point guard spot. Double-figure score at just under 11 a game. Missed both free throws, though.
Yeah, he's a terrific three-point shooter, and he just came out cold and really never adjusted. 1 for 4 behind that three-point line, and he's second on the team with 71 three-pointers.
Now the Trojans can afford to be patient, but McClellan gets by the defender. He went right around Peppenhorst and scored.
And that's what I like about this team. They stay aggressive. He could have pulled it back out, but took what the defense gave him. It was wide open and able to knock down that layup.
And suddenly it's a 17-point gain. Peppenhorst for 3, though. He's not going to stop firing. And Carlyle calls timeout. 14 points now for Peppenhorst. He has 4 3-pointers, but Maroa-Forsyth has a 14-point lead. Back with more from Peoria after this network break. It's a 14-point Maroa-Forsyth lead at 64-50 over Carlyle. We said that we could see a game in the 60s or the 70s, but at this point it looks like the Trojans are the only team that's going to get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, offensively they came out in the first half really able to establish the perimeter game, and that almost seemed to settle. Then after that they were able to read the defense, and now they're getting some points in the paint.
And spreading the floor now here in the final 2.5 minutes of this one. Reed Sullivan had an open layup, but instead he's thinking more that the clock is the enemy and not trying to score points.
Exactly.
And a whistle as McClellan had a backdoor pass, but he was fouled before he could get it. Don't forget, semifinal game number 1 tomorrow, 11 a.m. The winner of this one gets Illinois Valley Central, the IVC Grey Ghosts, making their first ever trip to state. And that'll be our first game at 11, 3-point shootout, and then we'll have the winners of tonight's night session meeting at 12:45 tomorrow in the second state semifinal. What a season for both of these clubs to get here. Maroa-Forsyth at 29-2, making its first state appearance since 1957. Carlisle Indians at 26-9 at state for the first time since the 1989 squad, led by Tom Michael, who won the state championship. It's a 15-point Maroa-Forsyth advantage with just about 2 minutes to go here. Again, quick hands by the Trojans and the defense, and now Matt Palm tries to go back and get it, and he's going to be whistled for a foul in the backcourt, it appears. Well, they're going to whistle it against the Trojans, evidently. Reed Sullivan.
I didn't quite see that. Reed was the one who was on the floor, and fans don't like that call either. They've got the short end of the stick there.
Peppenhorst to trigger, got the ball right back off the inbounds and fire a 3. He missed the shot. Palm up high to get the offensive board, lay it in. Now, folks in the southern part of the state are going to see a lot more of Matt Palm in the next 2 years. Whistle in the backcourt. Boy, C.J. McClellan almost turned the basketball over against that full court pressure.
Yeah, he went upstairs, and when you jump in the air, coaches don't like to see that because only one thing you can do, and that's pass the ball. And he was very fortunate to be fouled there because he had nowhere to go. Could easily been called for traveling.
Well, McClellan's one of those guys you have to look deep into the stat sheet to see that Well, he's got 7 points as he goes to the foul line now. He's got 4 rebounds, got a couple of assists. You know, he's one of those guys. Certainly his stat line's not going to be nearly as glossy as Robert Krebs or Austin Peebles, but he just kind of gets the job done.
Well, and we talked about, he shoots a high percentage from the field, doesn't take a lot of bad shots, handles the basketball, and just really feeds off Krebs and Peebles. So, talked about guys knowing their roles. He's one of them.
Johnson lost the dribble. Palm for 3. That's good. So Matt Palm has come off the bench now to score in double figures. Give him 11. That's the 4th Indians player in double figures. That's been the case all year long where they've had 4 players in double figures. They've been able to balancedly spread that offense out. It's just that they're running a little bit short on time here.
Yeah, we talked about them running out of time here, and you've got 1:31. They've got a foul, and hopefully that the Trojans will miss some shots down the stretch. But you've got to get the ball into Peebles and Krebs' hands. Those guys, it's sort of the last maybe possession or two, have been passing it. And they got to be a little more selfish. Back when I played, we had a guy named Kelly Tripucka, and he never gave the ball up. So Peebles and Krebs have got to turn into a Kelly Tripucka right now and keep that ball and give the three. Those guys are terrific shooters and great free throw shooters.
Well, it's been a well-played game for sure, and both teams shooting at either 50% or better from the floor. And I guarantee you that prior to the game, if you'd have told both coaches, hey, your team's going to shoot better than 50% from the field, they'll say, I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, Carlyle has played a great game. It's just that Maroa has just come out and just played terrific, and it's just been, we talked about it, and it's been Krebs and Peebles. Those guys have been the difference makers, especially Robert Krebs. Right
now, Carlyle at 22 of 44 for an even 50%, but 56% shooting now for Maroa-Forsyth at 24 of 43. So the Trojans have been able to run their offense, as you mentioned, Doug. They've been able to take advantage of situations like this where they've got the numbers. Krebs down. He's fouled before he can finish the play. He's fouled by Matt Palm.
Nice job of getting the ball to hit in his hands. I mean, he's the guy. I mean, he's got the hot hand. And Kurt, I have to give you full disclosure. His dad, I'm feeling really old right now. His dad, Dave, was an assistant coach at Illinois when I was there, and this guy was a whopping, probably not even born back then.
Wow!
And Suzanne, his mom, and there's terrific parents. And it's sort of neat to see this kid out there.
Did his dad shoot as well as his son?
He got all his athletic ability from his mom. Did you hear that, Dave? No, but I saw Dave walking by, and we were talking, and I said, I can't believe it, your son's out there. And I said, you must be proud of him. He says, I sure am, and he's a special kid.
Well, C.J. McClellan now back to the foul line after Krebs split those free throws, and everything right now going in the favor of the Trojans, who, as we mentioned, have been receiving faxes and telephone calls from the last Maroa-Forsyth team to make it to state. That was the 1957 club, who made it to Supersectionals. That's part of the state series, beaten by Champaign High School and never got a chance to get to the Elite Eight. This team has gotten one step further to the Elite Eight. Now we'll get 2 steps further as it's honing in on its first ever Final Four berth. And another backcourt foul here as we approach the 1-minute mark left in this one. And so the folks in Macon County, they'll be partying tonight. They'll be back here at 11 o'clock in the morning for what appears to be a matchup between the IBC Grey Ghosts from Chillicothe nearby and Maroa-Forsyth's Trojans.
And those two teams really match up well. It's another, 3-point fest and real up-tempo. It will be a game very similar to this game.
And now the Trojans players and the Indians players, they're clearing their benches. This is always a classy move, giving some of those reserve players an opportunity to taste what it's like to play at state. Both fan bases here in attendance on their feet, applauding the starters play, and now the reserves coming in for the final 70 seconds of this one. Austin Peebles likely has scored his final point of this afternoon. Give him 16 now. So he and Robert Krebs, who had 29, combining, and check that now, 17 for Peebles, combining for 46 of their team's 70. Well, we said one team could get to 70, and that's been the case here. obviously an opportunity again for players to get an opportunity to play on the state floor. That's Seth Noloff, who's missed. He was the leading scorer on opening night. He had 14 points against Greenville. He's got a chance to play very well in the first game of the season and a chance to taste the last game of the season here in Peoria. As we approach a half a minute left. Now the Indians have nothing to hang their heads about. A 26-9 season and a trip to state.
Yeah, again, they played terrific. It's just that the Trojans they were firing on all cylinders offensively. Just weren't able to slow them down.
Yeah. And Noloff turns the basketball over now, and we'll see perhaps the final possession of this basketball game. So pencil through Maroa-Forsyth now in your bracket to the state semifinals. First semifinal tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. against Illinois Valley Central from nearby Chillicothe.
These guys are too unselfish. Kurt, I'd be firing it up right just like that.
Final seconds of this one. See if we'll get one more shot off. And we will. And there's your final. Maroa-Forsyth 70, Carlyle 55. And we're back to wrap things up here at Carver Arena after these network messages.